Hey friends, I want to share a class with you today that is going to be suitable for pregnancy when you're experiencing some heartburn. So this class has been requested by one of my members in my online yoga circle membership, where you can get classes all around fertility, pregnancy, birth, and early postpartum. There are loads of classes already in there that you can check out, or in this instance, if you can't find one that you're looking for, you can also request a class. So I'll leave the links below if you want to go and start your free 30-day trial. So heartburn during pregnancy can be incredibly painful. I personally had it mostly in my third pregnancy, and it was mostly in the later stages of pregnancy. So once bub is so big that all those digestive organs are quite squished in there, and also you have that relaxant in the body that opens up the valve between the stomach and the esophagus. So you've got some of the gases from the stomach coming up more frequently than you would if you weren't pregnant. So one of the things I found really helpful when I was experiencing heartburn is staying upright. So whenever you put your head below your heart, often it makes heartburn worse. So things like sleeping upright can be helpful if you're feeling really bad heartburn. Other things you can address are obviously the types of foods you're eating. So things like spicy foods or anything acidic like tomatoes or citrus fruit are going to make heartburn worse. I also found drinking ice cold water really helpful. Ice cream for dinner can also help. So in today's class, we're actually going to stay standing. You're not going to come down to the floor at all. So I hope for those of you who are experiencing heartburn, this is a helpful class that you can practice that doesn't make your heartburn any worse. All right, so just stand with your feet underneath your hips, or maybe even a little bit wider, so that you feel quite comfortable and stable in your legs. Take a little bit of a micro bend through your knees. I just want you to roll the shoulders back and down. So start breathing in and out through the nose, just loosening up through the shoulders here. And then inhale, take the arms towards each other, above the head, interlace the fingers, reaching up tall. And then leaning over to one side, so you're sticking the opposite hip out. So this is making a nice big space through the side body, which can be helpful once baby's getting really big and there's not a lot of space through the side body. And then inhale back through center and exhale over to the opposite side. This is why it's good to have the knees bent, so you can bend as much as you need into those knees to make this pose comfortable for you. And then inhale, back up tall. I want you to bring the hands onto the legs. I'm going to do a cat-cow, but in this standing position. So as you inhale, I want you to open up the chest, make a little bit of a bend through the back, but not too much. So if it feels good, you can arch that low back, but if it doesn't, just keep the tailbone tucked slightly. But I want you to open up through the chest. And then as you exhale, you're going to round the back, look towards the belly, press into the hands, straighten up the arms, and then inhale, open up again. Beautiful. Let's do it again. Exhale, round. Inhale to open. Exhale. And inhale. One more. Exhale. And then slowly roll yourself to stand. And then we're going to bring ourselves to a wall to use as a prop. So this can be really helpful for both lengthening out the back, but also as we start to move into our warriors, we've got the wall as support so that you're not needing as much balance as you normally would, because your balance is often off a little bit once your belly gets quite large. So the first thing we're going to be doing is just lengthening our back out on the wall. So because we spend a lot of our time when we're pregnant with our back arched as our belly draws us forward, we want to counteract that and start learning a little bit better posture. So if we can start to learn how to line up our hips a little bit better, we're going to get less lower back pain. So essentially what we're doing is we're moving on the wall, pressing that low back into the wall. So just want you to bring yourself over to the wall. Let the shoulders be nice and comfortable. And I just want you to use the breath to press that low back in and then release. So you might need to move the knees a little bit. It's just lengthening that tailbone down. Keeping the breath long and deep in and out through the nose. Nice. And then I'm going to get you to use the wall as support as you walk the feet out. and we take a seat against the wall. So again, I want you to press that low back into the wall. Press the shoulders in. So this is going to be strengthening through our legs. Keep the knees in parallel to the hips. So the inner thighs turn on. You've obviously got a nice big belly. So bring your hands onto your belly, and I want you to send the breath to the belly. I want you to notice as sensations in the legs get stronger. So I often use this in my birth prep classes as a way to just practice what it feels like when the muscles of our body are working hard, just like our uterus will be doing during birth. So keep breathing. It's also a great way to keep our legs nice and strong, which we might need during labor if we want to stay nice and active during labor. So one more breath here. You notice I'm kind of just rubbing my legs. It's a nice distraction tool. And then bring the hands into the wall. I want you to straighten the legs up. So the tailbone's going to hit the wall, and you're just going to walk the hands down the legs, getting a bit of a hamstring stretch. So if your heartburn is feeling too much right now, going even that little bit lower, you can stay up on the thighs. So you'll still get a nice stretch through the legs, even just here. But if it does feel good, you could go a touch lower and stretch into those legs a little bit more. All right, and then use the wall as support to slowly bring you back up. And I want you to step the legs out as we move into Warrior Two. So your back foot, the toes are facing forward. Your front foot, the toes are facing forward. And because we've got this wall behind us, I want us to use it. So press your bottom into the wall, and then take the arms nice and wide, rest the shoulders in, sink down nice and low. So this helps you also to work on alignment. So you can notice if this front leg is kind of forward, you can draw it back towards the wall, which is opening up nicely through the hips. I just want you to breathe here. So this is a nice one as your belly gets quite big, just to have that support of the wall there. We feel quite grounded and strong using these supports. Turn that front palm up and then draw the back hand up. Breathing into that side body again, so helping to make space in this area. And then resting it down. You just straighten the legs up and turn both toes out now. So keep the bottom touching the wall as you slide the hips down and take a seat into your goddess. So feel free to adjust the feet if you need to. I want you to have that low back press nicely into the wall so you feel nice and stable here. Draw the shoulders back and down, and we just sit and breathe. And then straighten the legs up. And we turn our feet so that we can find Warrior Two in the opposite direction. So the back foot, toes are at 90 degrees, the front foot facing towards the front. Lean into the wall as much as you need. Press the shoulders in for support. Take a breath. Let's flip that front palm, reverse our warrior. And then inhale, coming up, straightening the legs, and just slowly walking them back in towards each other. So we're going to stay with the wall now, but mainly using it for support as we move into a few one-leg balance poses. So you're going to keep the left hand on the wall, take a little bend through that left knee, and then pick up the right foot, flexing the foot across the left thigh as you take a seat down. So use that wall as support, and you should feel the stretch through this right hip. Keep the chest lifted so that you can breathe into those lungs. So the lower you go, the more you'll feel this stretch in the hip. If you feel okay to let go of the wall, you could use that front leg as a bit of a support, leaning in a little deeper. And then as you inhale, use the wall again to come and stand. I want you to reach that foot around, find the ankle. So we're moving into a dancer's pose, again with the support of the wall. Keep the hand on the wall as you start to push that foot into the hand. So getting a nice stretch through the front of this hip now. Keep breathing. And gently release. So I'm going to turn in the opposite way. So we're just going to do the same pose. So you don't have to face the wall. You can do it as we did before. So that left leg up and over, and come and take a seat down. This feels really nice in the hips after a long day on the legs. So if you are someone who does a lot of work standing, this will feel really nice just to stretch into those hips. And then slowly straighten, reach that foot around into the hand. Maybe take the arm a little higher as you press the foot in. And then gently release it down. And then I want you to take a step towards the wall. Bring the hands in about hip height, and we're going to do a down dog against the wall. So it's up to you how low you go, depending on if you're experiencing heartburn or how bad it is at the moment. So you might only come out a little way, and you might step the hands up a bit so that you can stay higher. Or if you want to go low, you can keep them at hip height. Walk the feet out until they're underneath your hips. Press the palms into the wall. So the head should be in line with the elbows, and just gently press in. So you should get a really nice hamstring stretch here. Like I said, if heartburn is flaring at the moment and you want to keep that head above the heart, just bring the hands up a little bit higher. You'll still get that stretch through the legs without the intensity. Take a few deep breaths here. And then slowly walk the feet back in. So something that women who are experiencing a lot of heartburn struggle with is how to come into a shavasana, because how do you take that resting pose, or how do you come into meditation? So yes, you could meditate sitting up against the wall. I would use a bolster, take a seat if that's most comfortable. But I want to also encourage that you can meditate in movement. Meditation doesn't have to look like sitting still. Sure, we're most familiar with that, but you can also do a meditation that is a moving, rocking meditation, which we're going to do today. So I want you to hold your belly, and I want you to take your feet nice and wide. And we're going to start just by circling the pelvis. So taking the bottom back and around, and then take it in the opposite direction. So you may need to bend into your knees. The more you bend, obviously the bigger your circle will be, so bring it back a little bit smaller, and then just start to move in a rhythm that feels good for you. So for me, it's a bit of a figure 8. And I find often pregnant mums just do this naturally. It's like an instinctual thing. I think we're starting to practice rocking our baby. So just bending leg to leg, make the feet nice and comfortable, maybe the toes rise. And then I'm going to get you to close down the eyes. I want you to steady the breath in and out through the nose. I want you to notice how your body feels in this moment. Maybe the movement needs to slow down a little bit so it's more in time with your breath. Maybe your face needs to soften, relaxing through the temple and the jaw. Maybe your shoulders need to relax, or maybe open up a little bit more if you're finding yourself hunched over your belly. See if you can keep your heart open. Connect in with your belly and your baby. Each breath in fills the belly fully, so feel the hands expanding with the in-breath and softening on the out-breath. And then I want you to imagine the breath moving from the belly all the way up, creating a clear path of energy up and out through the nose, through the throat, bringing a coolness to any sensations of heat that you're feeling in your body right now. Stay focused on this visualization of the breath to the belly and releasing any heat on the exhale up through the throat. Stay soft in the rest of your body, allowing this movement and this breath to be restorative and calming. Perhaps even imagining yourself rocking your baby to sleep, soothing them with your breath. And then come back to center. And bring the hands to heart, slowly open the eyes when you're ready. Let's take a moment to honor yourself in this moment. To give yourself the grace to accept all pregnancy symptoms that come up, not all of them pleasant. To give yourself compassion to do what you need to ease any feelings of discomfort. And give yourself the love that you need as you transition into motherhood. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. It's always an honor to share these practices in this space with you. Namaste.